today. All right.
Mm,
Giving thanks for the space
yeah.
and for the meditation. And I know many of us are probably thinking, but it's summer in most places where we all are right now, right? Why are we meditating on ice? And I think that'll become more evident as we step through today's study
Mm,
also, this rising. So
mhm.
welcome, welcome, welcome back to the Sacred Responsibility book study. And again, we are in week three. Week three.
Week 3.
Week three. Peace and blessings, Sister Ajane. Okay, she's in. All right,
All
so we
right.
can get started.
I say, I say.
Ashe.
Okay.
We're going to start with
So if we'll take a deep breath in and hold, and just a fully expressed exhale out. And another deep breath in and hold, and a fully expressed exhale out. Just ground back into the moment. Ashe, ashe. So we're actually going to start this rising, y'all, with a couple of readings from the passage. As always, we're going to also share in the study, those key elements that we want to make sure that we are in collective lockstep with each other in
mm.
studying. So we'll be sharing our screen to do that. But we will start first. And if you want to read along with us, we'll be on page 72. Page 72. And we're starting midway the page with reorientation.
Reorientation. All right, here we go, family. Here we go. So, reorientation is the stage where responsibility changes shape. In disillusionment, you release the fantasy that awakening would fix everything. You let go of the hope that clarity would dissolve difficulty or exempt you from consequence. That grief was necessary. It cleared the ground. In reorientation, something quieter begins. You start to understand what awakening actually does. It does not remove lessons, it personalizes them. Internally, this often feels like humility, not collapse, but recalibration. You stop asking for a different life and begin asking for a truer way to live the one you have. The question is no longer, how do I get past this? It becomes, how do I meet this accurately? Externally, this stage can look repetitive. The same themes return in relationships, in work, in your sense of self. The setting may change, the people involved may change, but the signal remains recognizable. Repetition here is not punishment, it is refinement. I thought I already learned this. The phrase carries quiet impatience, an expectation that awareness should exempt you from the return. In the body, it shows up as resistance, tightening, sighing, disengaging before the moment has fully revealed itself. But awareness does not graduate from, but awareness does not graduate you from practice. It assigns you to a more precise one. Your life is no longer random, it is instructional, not in a moral sense, but a practical one. The curriculum is not designed to shame you or test your worth. It is shaped around your nervous system, your relational patterns, your capacity of responsibility. No two syllabi are the same. The lessons are not abstract, they are lived. Reorientation asks you to stop measuring progress by novelty, to stop looking for proof that you have moved on. It invites you to notice something more honest. Your responses are becoming more coherent, more embodied, more exact. This is not about getting it right. It is about practicing truth in real time until it becomes natural to live what you know. This is one of the ways grace operates when you are awake enough to notice it, not as rescue, not as escape, as arrangement. Life becomes less random, not because you control it, but because your soul begins to recognize the through line. Certain themes return with new timing, new texture, new demands, not to humble you, but to form you. This is not the universe mocking your progress. It is the sacred intelligence of you becoming, working through repetition the way a teacher works through review, not to shame, but to strengthen what must become more reliable.
Ashe.
That's it.
And now I'm just going to pull us into the middle way of page 74, and that's instruction without shame.
Mm,
One of the quieter recognitions of reorientation is this: you are not being corrected, you are being trained. Before awakening, life often felt like something that happened to you. Patterns felt unfair or obstructive. Meaning was something you searched for afterward, once the dust settled. After awakening, something subtle changes. Life begins to work with you through pattern, consequence, and repetition, not to punish you, not to test your worth, to refine your capacity to respond accurately. Once you stop resisting it, this can feel relieving. You no longer judge yourself for not passing lessons quickly. You stop interpreting recurrence as failure. You begin to sense something truer. Mastery is not about speed, it is about accuracy. Accuracy asks different questions, not why is this still here, but how am I meeting it now? Externally, your engagement shifts. You stop dramatizing challenges. You stop personalizing their return. You notice that the same situation can ask something new of you depending on how you arrive. The lesson is not in the event, it is in the response it draws from your body, your timing, your honesty. This is where shame loosens. Shame says, you should already be beyond this. Instruction says, you are being prepared for something specific. You begin to see your life is not repeating itself randomly. It is refining you, training your nervous system, strengthening your capacity to stay present, choose deliberately, and respond without fragmentation. Your life becomes a curriculum shaped for your responsibility,
mm,
not theoretical, not aspirational, practical. Ashe.
I say.
So with
Mm,
that, family, we open the space and it lays the groundwork for our book study this rising because it's this idea that we're being moved through a lesson by lesson, right?
mm,
And it's really to shape our individual curriculum. And the curriculum that we are moving through is so that we could deliver on our divine assignment.
I say. I say.
Okay.
It's amazing how when you start this awakening process, you can reframe how you look at things because it's not the same thing that shows up all the time. There's a different message for you in different
Exactly.
situations. So
Exactly.
yeah,
Like you could feel like, how did I arrive here again?
right,
How did I end up in the same type of workspace? How did I end up in this space of exhaustion?
right.
How did I end up with this same type of, significant other
Hmm.
or whatever the case is? And you could be thinking, wow, I must be doing something so wrong,
Right,
right?
right,
I bumped my head, I still haven't learned, but perhaps there's a deeper lesson that
right,
I'm.
right.
Yeah, being refined.
Mm,
Ashe.
that's
Okay. Give us a thumbs up when you can see the screen, family. Let us know when you can see it. Okay, I see a hand up. Give thanks and a thumb. Give thanks, give thanks. Okay. So we'll get started. Let's make this full screen. Okay. So, family, let's see. Here we go. We were moving through in this week's lessons, chapters 5 through 8. Looks like it's still loading for us. And as always, whether you have been able to open your book and be able to get through the
Mhm.
reading or not, no family member left behind, right?
Right, right.
Let's see here. We are here to help you with the speed read. Okay, there we go. So the chapters thus far, let me just move this to the bottom. Oh, there we go. Start from the beginning. Okay. So the chapters thus far, chapter 5 was Your Life, the Curriculum. Chapter 6, Ambition Has Seasons. Chapter 7, Rock Bottom as Revelation. And then chapter 8, which is the Sacred No and the Holy Yes. And these are abbreviations, right, of the titles, right? But we get the message.
Mhm.
Okay, so we're going to step forward. Okay. So, in the first stage, right, because we are breaking down the series of chapters that we're reading into stages of expression, right, or realization, stages of awakening, even. The last stage was about what awareness has cost me. So we talk about how, awakening opens your eyes to what you're doing. But then post awakening, now you're being exposed to what it's costing you,
Mhm.
right? And that's where that disillusionment that James mentioned in the reading comes online, where you start to dissolve all those theories that you now have disproven. Then we move into now what we're calling stage 2, which is that next chapters 5 through chapters 8. And that's where now it's about what is it actually asking of me?
Mhm.
So now we know the cost, but what is it asking of me? So stage 1 on the left-hand side here, that's where clarity arrived and maybe it hurt. You named what cost you. You grieved the illusions of it dissolving. And then the question that comes online can be, why is this still here? But then we shift into stage 2, which is what we're opening the way for today, which is the reorientation. And that's now clarity is becoming your curriculum. You practice living what you know. You let ambition be seasonal. And we're going to
Mhm.
talk more about that, right? And the question that comes online is, how do I meet this moment accurately or more accurately each time? And so the reading from the book here is your life is not repeating itself randomly. It is refining you, training your nervous system, strengthening your capacity to stay present, choose deliberately, and respond without fragmentation.
Mhm.
Okay.
So in this one, chapter 5, your life
Right.
is the curriculum.
Mm,
Um, and it comes from, well, actually, from the Latin
mhm,
curriculum, meaning a course.
mm,
Hmm,
mhm,
a course. So curriculum, that word, just really quick, it
mm.
keeps coming up. Actually, Brother Truth was talking about it yesterday when we was talking.
I love it when alignment
And,
shows up
and, and
like
that's
that.
what when I so I'm like, it's just so aligned how certain conversations start happening. And I believe the way we're looking at it now, where we can start looking at life as curriculum and you start thinking
Mhm,
about it even scholastically, like it's like, okay, that makes sense. Like there are
mhm,
stages to this,
mhm.
right? And each one is very important. Don't skip it. You need to stay present in this one before you get to the next one. Um, so I just again, the alignment is
I
over.
love that. It's like you could get a 75 on the test this time
Right,
in the
right,
curriculum,
right,
right?
right,
And perhaps the idea is then to take it again
right,
and to receive an 85,
right,
right? And maybe there's going to be a series of tests before we reach that accuracy of
right,
100%.
right.
But looking at it like everything that's happening around you is a lesson to build the curriculum. So,
And we know, depending on where you're at, and what stage in your life and how you are awoke, you can see things differently.
mhm.
So maybe it was meant for you to get the 75 the first time.
You say this all the time, especially when it like relates to going through Man Heal Thyself, the book,
Hmm.
over and over again, that
Hmm.
every time you go back to it,
Hmm.
you experience it differently
Differently, yeah.
because there's experiences that you're now
Right.
having in life that are
Right.
shaping you.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go back, it's with new eyes. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like,
Right. You're like, "Oh, I read this before, but I didn't. Oh, wow, this hits different this time. Like,
mhm.
depending on where you're at. So, yeah,
Yeah, I should.
I say. Um, what the book teaches. Repetition is not failure, which we just
Hmm.
talked about, right? It is refinement. Your life is not random, it is instructional. Situations that keep returning are not punishing you, they are training your response.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. The moment you stop asking, why is this happening again? And start asking, what is this asking me to practice now?
Hmm.
That single shift changes everything about how you carry reoccurring patterns. And that's what we just kind of talked about.
Hmm.
You'll start saying, like, oh, wait, not why this is happening. Oh, I see this. Oh, I see a message. Okay, I understand what's happening.
Hmm.
You know? So I'm thankful for that because actually attached that to even the last time. Like your body almost remembers,
Hmm.
oh, the last time I went through this. Oh, okay, I remember that lesson. Now let
Yeah.
me stack the lesson to with this one.
Hmm.
So um, and chapter 6, ambition has season,
Hmm.
and that comes from the Latin ambitio.
Hmm. We'll go with that.
Okay. Meaning a going around, a
Hmm.
going around,
Yeah. How
around.
about that? This
Mm,
surprised me.
a going
Hmm.
around. So what the book teaches is ambition is not a personality trait. It is a phase. It builds you in one season and quiets you in another.
Yeah.
Mm. It builds you in one season and quiets you in another.
Hmm.
It's okay to be quiet sometimes.
Hmm.
Hmm. When drive gives way to discernment, it is not regression, it is wisdom taking the lead.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
This one
Mm,
was a big revelation for me, even just in journaling it before it became the book, right?
mm,
Because sometimes, right? And maybe this is not the case for everyone, but very often you'll hear people express ambition as it is like a personality trait, right? Like
mm,
I am ambitious, right? If you ever think of writing a resume, right? People start out by saying something like detail oriented, self-starting ambition. I don't know. Maybe now with ChatGPT, folks say something more clever than that,
mm.
right?
Right.
But meaning, that was like the traditional thing for a long period of time, right? That having an identity like that was the pathway to success,
Mm,
right? So then you start to feel like you should always have this energy of constant seeking and ambition.
mm,
And in the moments when you don't experience that, you might actually become depressed.
mhm,
You might actually think that you're stuck or that you're frozen in time or that you're being crippled in some way, stagnated in some way. You might think you're blocked,
mm,
right? When in actuality, we don't have to carry ambition as a personality trait. We don't have to carry ambition as a constant sense of identity. We can allow it to be seasonal.
mm,
And I was surprised when we looked up the etymology on ambition because the broader definition of it almost sounded like a campaign, right? So it talks about canvassing for votes,
mm.
seeking favor, a going around of sort, right?
Right.
So it definitely gave that seasonal flavor,
Mhm.
but it also gave this sense of feeling almost like a campaign. No one ever expects a campaign to run forever,
Right.
right? It serves a purpose. And when the purpose is met, it's okay for it to dissolve.
Right.
And so this was big for me because there would be times where I brought a practice online. Perhaps I even brought it to community, right? And when it had fulfilled its season,
Hmm.
just allowing myself to be okay with
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
and not feel like I need to continue creating. I need to keep doing the thing because perhaps maybe there's an expectation of others,
Right.
right? That
Right.
maybe they want me to continue doing the thing. But when I really was responding to my spirit
Right.
and what, the Most High within and without was telling me to do, the season for that was complete,
Right.
you know? But then what comes online because of me stopping and pausing and responding to that and saying, okay, it's okay for this this act of ambition to run its cycle and be
Right.
done, it created space for the creativity to return for something new at another
Mhm.
time. It created rest
Mhm.
for something new to return at another time, you
Right.
know? So that was a big aha for me, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. And that's important to listen to spirit and be okay with the season that's quiet. Because there are things that's gonna come from that season.
Hmm.
You know, you need the rest, you need the clarity to sit with. Um, so yeah, I'm that's a big one too. Yeah. Um, and then the moment you stop asking, can I do this? And start asking, what will this require of my nervous system, my relationships, my truth?
Yeah.
Discernment arrives not as apathy, but as precision.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is the difference in capacity, right, versus consent.
Consent. Yeah.
So last week and the week prior, we were talking about consent, like that whole bringing together of the mind, the body, the spirit, coming into one place where it's like it's a full body yes.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And capacity is just really taking a temperature check for, do I have the ability to do this right now?
Mhm.
But just because you have the capacity doesn't mean you've been given the consent, either spiritually or even holistically inside yourself.
Right.
So instead of it just asking you now, can I do this, which
Mhm.
is the capacity question, now it's asking you, what is it really going to require of me,
Right.
right? We're back to that cost.
Right.
What is this going to cost me right now, right? And you start thinking about it deeper, and that's when you start to really get, deeper into the truth of
Mhm.
your yes or your no. That's the discernment.
Right. And see now I'm flashing, even thinking about things from the past. Yeah, I did that, but what did it cost me
Hmm.
after doing it, you know?
Hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, a friend asks you to come and lift some things,
Right.
right? Like, just give an example for anyone could have, right?
Right.
A friend asks you to come and lift some things, and maybe now you lift it, and now your back is sore, and you've got to go do something else. You know what I'm saying? That might be important to you, or
I mean, even energy.
simple things. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, like even energy wise, I started thinking about just like even, conversations you may have with somebody where you're there for them, um, but it's repetitive for them because maybe they're not making changes. So their energy is always pulling from you.
Hmm.
You can stay there and be there,
That's an important one.
right?
Hmm.
But what is it costing you
Yeah.
to continue to go through this cycle with somebody who maybe needs to learn their own lessons or just different things. I just start thinking about different things of what the cost part is.
It's so true. And this is where we go back to that idea of self-abandonment.
Mm,
Like, this is not about not showing up for others. It's not about
right.
not, synchronizing experiences with others. It's not about not actively loving others through your actions. It's about checking in with yourself to make
Mm,
sure you're not abandoning you
right.
in order to do it,
Right.
you know?
Right.
Yeah. So in the book, that last line on the bottom is mastery is not about speed, right? It's about accuracy.
Mm,
Ambition did not disappear. It completed its work for this season. That's okay.
right.
That's okay. When we worked the farmland, we didn't expect every single crop to grow from, January to December, right?
Right.
It had a season, you know. We have our season too. We are of nature,
Yes.
not outside of it.
That's important.
Yeah.
Mm,
So now we go into chapter 7 and 8. And chapter 7 is rock bottom, a revelation. This one is another one that for me, in experiencing it before writing the book, it was an aha, right? I like to call it an aha moment. It was
mm,
like, oh, okay, I see that differently now.
mm,
I'd always thought of rock bottom as being this thing where, like, you've done this thing that was so damaging to either your mind, your body, your spirit, and now you are crashing down. You're at this rock bottom because of it. Well, rock bottom can actually just be not that it's necessarily a catastrophe, but it's the moment that your usual compensations stop compensating.
mm,
The thing you've been telling yourself to
mm,
rationalize continuing to do something that forces you to abandon yourself, right?
mm,
You have now you're post awakening. You
mm,
know better now.
mm.
You're like, no, that's not going to fly with me
Right.
anymore, right?
Right.
I've been telling myself this. That's not going to fly with me anymore.
Right.
That's rock bottom,
Mm.
right? And if we look at that as our rock bottom, we don't have to crash down
Right.
all the way. You know what I mean? Like that can just be enough, the soft landing, right? Um, and that's where you are finally standing on what's actually true,
Mm. Mm.
right? So when you think about anybody and any version of what rock bottom looks like, even if you believe they came crashing all the way down, where did they come crashing to? They came crashing down to their truth, to the space that was like, look, all those things that you thought were holding you up,
Mm.
they're not.
Mm.
And now you know, right?
Mm.
So what changes? The question shifts from how do I get out of this to what is being asked of me now that there is nowhere else to stand.
Mm.
This is going to bring us down to this
Mm.
ice reference, right?
Mhm.
The reason why we started out with the meditation, the visual of ice. So rock bottom is the first place the ground does not shift beneath you. You are finally on the final floor, right?
Mhm.
Nothing is going to shift here. You are now dissolved everything else that you've been holding.
Mm.
That's the rock bottom.
Mm.
So in this moment is where we could actually shift back to the meditation.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, family. So we're going to shift into meditation.
Okay.
Oh, and by the way, if you want to follow this or I will return to this meditation, it's on page 91 in chapter 8.
Okay. Standing on what is real.
Mm,
Mm. So as we take this in, let's just be intentional and make sure we're paying attention to our breathing as we're doing this.
mm,
Uh, Sit without ceremony. Let
mm.
your spine rise gently, not rigidly, just tall enough to feel awareness lift. Let your weight drop at the same time. Feel the chair beneath you or the floor under your feet. You do not need to brace. You are already being held. Notice your breath before you change it. Where does it stop? Does it hover in the chest? Does it hesitate before arriving fully? Do not correct it. Simply observe the way you have been breathing inside your life. Now imagine something subtle. The ground beneath you is ice, not dramatic, not cracking loudly, just thinning, quietly thinning. You are standing on a surface that has carried you for a long time. Roles, expectations, urgency, competence, endurance. It has held, it has supported, it has not yet given away. And yet, you can feel that it is no longer thick enough to hold unnecessary weight. Do not panic, nothing is collapsing. But you can sense that if you continue standing exactly as you have, braced, overextended, carrying more than is yours, the ice will not hold indefinitely. Notice what your body does as you imagine this. Does your shoulders tighten? Does your jaw set? Does your breath lift? That tightening is the old strategy. Brace harder, perform steadiness, hold more weight so nothing breaks. Now, instead of bracing, imagine offloading gently, not throwing anything away, simply setting down what does not belong on this surface anymore. The need to manage perception, set it down. The urgency that proves your worth, set it down. The responsibility you inherited it without consent, set it down. The version of strength that required tension, it's not yours, set it down. Feel the ice beneath you respond, not with cracking, with relief. As weight lifts, the surface steadies. You are not saved by force. You are stabilized by truth. Now ask yourself quietly, what have I been standing on that cannot sustain the weight I am placing on it? Do not answer from the mind. Let the body answer first. Where do you feel contraction? Where does something soften when you imagine as released? You are not here to abandon your life. You are here to redistribute it. The ice does not demand that you disappear. It asks that you stop carrying what was never yours to hold. Feel your feet now. Imagine the ice thickening, not because you hardened, but because you lightened. Beneath the thinning illusion is something more solid. Not performance, not urgency, not applause, just contact. I say.
Ashe, ashe, ashe. And
Mm,
that's how it works, right?
mm,
With this idea that, yes, the ice might be fragile, right? But perhaps the ice isn't the problem.
right,
The amount of weight that's on top of it is. And just looking at what we're carrying that we can offload
right,
can create more safety than trying to thicken the ice.
right.
Yeah,
Mm,
Ashe,
I
give thanks for
say,
that.
yeah.
And so that then brings us into the sacred no and the holy yes of chapter 8. So again, we said capacity answers, can I do this? And consent answers, do I want to carry the cost? When we think about being on that ice, do I want to carry the cost?
Mm,
Right? Capacity without consent is no longer neutral. Once we're awakened to this idea, we're not neutral about it anymore, right? Your body registers the difference before your mind does. What changes? A sacred no is not rejection, it's reverence for what you are no longer willing to betray, right?
mm,
So you saying no is not to reject anyone else, it's just to stop abandoning yourself.
mm,
And the no protects what the yes makes possible. And we were talking about this last night, even, right? Like when you say no to something that has run its season, right? And you allow it to be complete and you move forward, right? You then allow yourself the space to say yes to something that is in season for you.
mm, mm,
You know, just to give an example, let's say it's a relationship, right?
mm,
If you continue to remain in relationship where you know the season has closed,
mm,
and it doesn't have to be, romantic relationship, any relationship,
mm,
relationship to work, relationship to food, whatever it is, right? If you remain in it after you already have awakened to the idea that it has completed its season,
mm,
then by not saying no to it, you're keeping yourself cluttered, you're keeping your schedule cluttered, you're
mm,
keeping your energy cluttered. When you say no, you free yourself up
mm,
to say yes to what's for you now, no matter what that is. That's where the sacred no and the holy yes hold hands. Saying no so that you free yourself to say yes to the thing that's really for you.
mm.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then the passage from the book is rock bottom is not where you lose yourself. It is where what is false can no longer support you and what is real finally
Okay.
can.
Mm.
Ashe.
That's it.
Okay, family.
So the question you were asking,
Mm,
why is this pattern repeating? The question that has replaced it, what is this asking me to practice now?
mm,
Hmm.
mhm,
The question you were asking, how far can I go? The question that has replaced it is, what am I willing to carry now?
mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
The question you were asking is, how do I get out of this? The question that replaced it is, what is being asked of me from here?
Mhm,
Hmm. And the question you were asking is, can I do this? And the question that replaced it is, do I want to carry the cost of doing this?
mhm. Ashe.
Hmm.
Ashe. So at this stage, right, where we're talking about reorientation, it's not about having a new life.
Hmm.
It's about having a new relationship
Hmm.
with the one you already have.
I'm telling you, I'm gonna go to work today. I'm gonna say, I don't know, I can do this, but do I want
What do
to
I
carry
want?
the cost of doing this? I don't know. I might not want to today.
Ashe.
It's gonna be different today.
Ashe. But it's the truth, right?
Right now.
Because we have become so, accustomed
Hmm.
to abandoning what's best for us,
Yeah.
you know?
I'm like, no, ma'am, that's not mine to carry.
Right.
That's yours. Nope, not today.
So with that said, family, we have arrived at the segment where now we're going to turn it over to you and to anyone who would like to share. And again, so in the format that we used even from the prior week, each one of these questions might land with you. Maybe only one or two do. Maybe none do in this season, right? But the idea is to use the question, the prompt, in order to really just deepen your sense of self, right? The better we know ourselves, the better we can protect ourselves from abandoning ourselves,
Yeah.
right? So in the curriculum, right, which is where we speak about that in chapter 5, the question is, what pattern keeps returning? You know what they are,
Hmm.
right? What pattern keeps returning? When you stop resisting its return and ask, what is this asking me to practice? What changes in your body?
Hmm.
So that's on the curriculum. On the ambition in chapter 6, it brings you to this awareness of where has your ambition gone quiet?
Hmm.
Sometimes you might be working on something and suddenly the voice that's been speaking to you, that's kept you on this role of creativity or feeling excitement about this thing, this
Hmm.
opportunity, this experience, whatever it is, has just gone quiet.
Hmm.
And you're still trying to turn it up, turn it up, turn it up. But it's like, no, like, it's
Hmm.
quiet. Does it feel like loss? Does it feel like completion or something that you've not named yet?
Hmm.
Because sometimes things have completed and just becoming in better relationship with allowing that to be
Hmm.
okay, can allow us to travel lighter. So what are you afraid people will assume if you slow down? Who's carrying something? Some like we talked about last week. How often are you experiencing stability only because you are the stability?
Right.
And if your ambition quiets, now you feel like, oh my goodness, will things quiet? Will things, crumble in some way, right?
Hmm. And then chapter 7 on rock bottom, it describes the moment when things narrowed and you found the narrow ground was more solid.
Mm,
Mm.
that ice.
Yeah, yeah. That's important. Wow. What did it feel like to stop propping up something that was already gone?
Hmm.
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 And then chapter 8 on the sacred no. When you are saying yes out of capacity, while your body says no out of consent.
Hmm.
And I think that's so important about the body. Like, pay
Hmm.
attention to your body. Your body will tell you everything.
Hmm. You
Everything.
feel it in your core
You really
first.
do.
Hmm.
You really do. Um, what would a no that needs no explanation protect in your life right now?
Hmm. Hmm. Even if you're not ready to say it, right? There's
Right.
no rush. right? But just getting clear about if you were to allow yourself to say no to anything right now, and you wouldn't be required to give it an explanation, what would it actually protect in your life right now? Because whatever it's protecting, that's the holy yes,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the thing you're not being able to say yes to because you still haven't grown comfortable with saying no to the thing that's blocking it.
Right. And I just love, like, even for myself, like, you know, to be able to say no without explaining.
It almost feels like a privilege, but
It
it
does.
shouldn't, right? It
It
shouldn't
does. I
have to
always
feel
feel like I
that
have to
way.
explain. I'm telling you, today's gonna be different. Today,
Uh-oh, y'all. Look.
the holy yes is for me. I'm no, no.
But it's true. Like when you stop abandoning who you
Oh
actually
yeah,
are,
yeah.
you can introduce yourself in truth to
Right.
people.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we're going to open it up to you all, family, and we want to know. We want to hear from you. What has come online, if anything, with any of this? How are you experiencing it?
Readings.
Peace
I
and
like to
greetings.
share like the part with the keep going in circles. I had a conversation just last night. That's why I'm saying it's divine timing. It's
Mm,
like what am I doing that keeps me repeating certain things keep repeating. What am I doing? I had to go inside and just like ask myself so I don't want to keep making the same mistakes or keep going in the same circle. It keeps going. To break the chain is to go deep and ask and to meditate on it. So I resonate with that.
Mm.
Yeah,
Ashe.
So,
definitely. It's beautiful. It's like divine alignment.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah,
I'm getting
yeah.
getting
so
from
yeah.
Ashe,
it.
Ashe. Give thanks for that.
Yeah,
No, it's
things.
true because sometimes when we get caught in that wheel, we think the wheel is the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And now we just want to get out the wheel. When in actuality, we're back in it for a reason. And it, like you said, Sister Empress, it's to deepen the experience this
Mm-hmm.
time,
Mm-hmm.
to go back and get the other piece of the curriculum that we need in order to move this divine assignment forward that maybe we didn't get when we went into the wheel the first time. So give thanks for that, sis.
That's it.
Ashe. And Sister Selena.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I cannot. I mean, I can, but it's wild how like every chapter feels like my life. Like I've lived this. I have a whole journal around this practice. So you call it sacred no and holy yes. I call it hell no and hell yes. And I call it the abundance and expansion journal for that reason, right? Your no makes room for your yes. And I don't believe until you lived it and experienced it, you can even fully embody and understand that. Like every time I say yes to something, it's taken away from, well, say yes to something that I don't want to say yes to.
Mm.
It's taken away from what I really want. So the no makes room for the yes. Um, this is so good. Oh my God.
Good things, sis. Good things. Good
Mm.
things. Yeah.
I would like to second that. What she said is like you spoke everything that I was feeling. Both of you. It was amazing. I love this call. It has been a time that I felt like ambition like wasn't there for me, and I started getting depressed, and I kept telling people something's off, something's off, something's off. I don't have the drive that I used to. But now that you explain it, it makes sense. Like sometimes you just have to take a break.
Come on,
Mm-hmm.
come on.
And you don't have to, I mean, like you try to, but you can't possibly be there all the time for everyone.
Mhm.
And that creates a big burden on yourself trying to do that. And now that you explain that, it's like, wow,
Yeah.
I can say no without guilt.
Come on.
And I can say I need time for myself to get myself together. And there's a lot of things that I read where they say take a season, like a couple of months, where you just concentrate on you and building yourself up, because it's just like the plane. I can't help you if I'm going down.
That's
That's
right.
right.
That's
That's
right.
right.
So it makes a lot of sense of what both of you were saying, and it just resonated with me so much to how you turned it around, that it's not so bad that you're going in circles. Is that maybe this time around you're gonna learn something different? And I love the way that you turned it around and made it positive, instead of always looking at it so why do you keep doing the same thing over and over again? You didn't learn the first time. Instead of just thinking like that, it's a positive way of looking at things.
Yeah, shit.
So this has been, it's wonderful. I loved it. And I'll definitely, if you're doing it next Tuesday, I'll definitely be there.
Be here next Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good day. Good day.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Okay.
being a reflection because
Hmm.
it's true. It's like, when you were speaking, says what came online for me is you ever have somebody call you and their intention was to call you for a solution, right? Whether it was to get your thoughts on something or to get your actual help physically on something, right? And you missed the call. And then by the time you get back to them, they say, "Oh, it's okay.
Right.
Like I resolved it, I took care of it." And you just the light bulb moment comes on that says, people very often and usually have what they need already, right, at their disposal to them for whatever it is that they need to do. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Like it's this idea that whatever the assignment is, you are already qualified
Hmm.
for the assignment, right? That idea that in order for me to get started, I need this, this, and this, and this, and this. No, if you already have the idea and the seed has been planted, you have the soil to get started, right?
Hmm.
So it's like in those moments we're reminded of that person, whoever that is.
Hmm.
That's the moment where it's like it's for both of you to realize
Right.
you have what you need. It wasn't me in this moment,
Correct.
right?
Say.
And it's for us to also recognize like it's okay to not always need to be needed
Correct.
because sometimes we assume that as an identity too,
Right.
so
Right.
give
I was
thanks.
talking yesterday really quick,
Hmm.
and we was talking with some of the brothers, and and again, I love this is all
It's an
alignment. It's all,
alignment.
and that's why I love even when the sisters were saying like this is alignment, like it's divine, absolutely, and it's not a coincidence. But even like to think that you need to save somebody else,
Hmm.
that's not your responsibility, right? You may be able to be here to be an example or to share because this is all a shared experience. But if you start feeling like you have been assigned to save somebody, especially at the cost of yourself,
Yes, exactly.
that's when you really need to sit down and reflect, like self-abandonment. That is
Mhm.
the truest thing of that when you start feeling that way. And then you start realizing, especially for somebody who doesn't even want to save themselves and you trying to save them. No, what you're actually doing, you're
Okay,
taking them away from the lessons they need
come
to
on.
get to that spot where they need to go. So you're not even doing something that you feel that you want to do. It's like, oh,
You're absolutely right.
yeah,
Like allowing them the space to
oh,
sit in their consequence
absolutely.
sometimes.
Absolutely. Don't let them skip the step. You got to let them sit in the steps. Don't skip it.
Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah.
say, yeah.
It makes so much sense. It's like a savior complex.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost an arrogant stance to take
Mm-hmm.
to think that
Hmm.
I have the solution
Right.
Hmm.
to your
Right.
problem.
Right.
Give thanks.
So,
Ashe, give thanks, beloveds. First, I want to say how beautiful this experience has been for me thus far. And I'm loving the intention that you both have put behind this and these slides. I'm like, I feel like I'm in class. I am definitely here to learn all of the things. But one thing I just wanted to share because it has been something that I've been sitting with is the difference between like I can versus I choose to, right? Because I think, especially for people who are and women, especially who are capable of carrying a lot, and I feel like our capacity becomes like the very thing that keeps us overextended. And so, like, noticing that, yeah, I may absolutely have the ability and the resources or the knowledge or strength to do a thing, but it doesn't mean that it deserves a yes, right? And so
I've just been recognizing that my capacity is also a resource that I'm responsible for stewarding. So it's like the question becomes less of like, can I handle this? It's more like, is this actually mine, to hold? And so this has been just a recurring theme for me just more recently and really sitting with that. Um, but I also think that's where the body becomes important because my mind is always like, oh, I can produce all these perfectly reasonable explanations for why I should do a thing, right? But meanwhile, my body has already been like, no, ma'am,
Right.
we're not doing that. So, yeah, it's just like really getting into that space where honoring that no before I just exhaust myself proving that like I could have done it. So I just wanted to share that.
Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. I give thanks for that. And I love bringing on the word honoring
Mm-hmm.
because beyond self-abandoning, it is truly honoring yourself. So give thanks for
Right.
that, Sister Lorraine.
Yeah.
You know, she made the comparison, right? It's the I can versus I choose, right? It's
Right.
like
Yeah.
I don't have to keep choosing just because I can.
Right.
Ashe, overstand that. And Sacred Woman Practitioner Raja, give thanks.
Rich rising to everyone. I wanted to say gratitude for this space and that the no and the letting go definitely resonates because you can hear spirit say, let it be, and you're just like, one more day, I can do it, thinking that if you put more energy into something, it might turn out differently. But honestly, it's spirit speaking, and I choose to listen. And learning no doesn't hurt to say is something my people pleasing heart is coming into terms with. So I give thanks for all the knowledge that you've shown and shared here from you and everyone in the call,
Give thanks.
and embracing that no when I want to say it. And when spirit says to say it, I will listen. I
Ashe,
give thanks.
Ashe, Ashe. And this is what this is all about, is building community around overstanding.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we can do it for ourselves, we can recognize it when someone else is doing it and have compassion instead of feeling rejected. Like if James and I are sitting here together and we're discussing this, when he gives his holy no, right? Or his sacred no rather,
Mm-hmm.
I'll be able to recognize it because we've been in practice in
Yes.
it together.
Yes.
So this is
That's
the whole
important.
reason why we do these studies is
Yeah.
so that if we can get the word out, then more of us can stop feeling so much guilt
Yes.
around it,
Yes.
because
Yeah.
we're all extending more compassion and grace because
Right.
we see it when it comes online. It's like,
Right.
oh, that was her sacred no. Let me
Right.
honor that for her.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yes.
That was his holy yes. Oh, this is wonderful.
Yeah.
So give thanks.
Yes.
Sister Selena.
Um, Real quick, this is a practice. I appreciate that you use the word practice. This is the assignment that I usually give to women, as you see it. But before I talk about the practice, um, I think it's important to recognize too that it didn't just get there, and sometimes the things that are underneath. And for me, it was abandonment, codependency. And there was a third one that's not coming to me now. And unpacking that and realizing this was underneath all of that. So that awareness and recognition of, oh, okay, there are deeper things going on. And the third one was because of the abandonment, I just wanted to make sure that no one else was left behind. So I felt like I needed to like step in. And so really understanding what was at the root of it all. And then the last thing that I'll say is around the practice. What helps with the practice is practicing your no. I always give the assignment of practice saying no once a day for 30 days
Wow.
Mm.
I like that.
to help you help you build the capacity to receive. Because sometimes we won't even allow ourselves to receive.
Ashe,
That's
And,
ashe,
and sometimes some don't even know that they can say no.
ashe, ashe,
That's it.
ashe.
Wow.
Gives you your power and your peace back. Ashe, give thanks.
Give thanks,
Ashe,
give
yes,
thanks
give
for the
thanks.
expansion on that.
Yes.
You know, and that's what happens in awakening, is that you're awakening to those premises, those foundational things that brought you there. Yeah.
Right.
And then in the post awakening, it's about now you know,
Right.
right? You know what's underneath. So now we move forward with the knowing.
Yeah.
So I give thanks for that.
Yeah, I love the practice too. The practice of just
Those 30 days.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That, yeah, yeah. At least practicing how it feels in
Feels
the body.
right.
So you're not just out here saying, no, no.
Right.
Exactly. Just once a day, though, because all this stuff starts to kind of unravel the power in it and the response that people give. It gives you more substance and more space to sit with it, to allow yourself to receive. Because sometimes the yes, even when you have the yes and you want to say yes, you may not allow yourself to receive it and you're not understanding why. There's deeper things that are going on there, right?
Absolutely.
You know, being strong and all the other things that society has said. I could go on and on about this, but I'm complete.
Ashe.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Give
sis.
thanks, sir.
Give thanks.
Yeah.
And Sacred Woman Felisa, peace and greetings.
Greetings, peace and greetings. I'm going to give homage to my South Dallas roots by saying, y'all are all in my Kool-Aid, and you even have the flavor. Oh, goodness. Gratitude is my superpower. um, Hard reset versus soft reset. And I have to say, Sister T, I'm so thankful. I'm sorry that you had to have that hard reset. When I went back and listened to week two, I try not to get emotional, but I'm thankful that you came through that, and it was a hard lesson, but it was a good lesson, I guess. Um, I'm in the midst of a soft reset, thankfully. I've had hints and clues along the way. God has used me in so many powerful ways. And but my body keeps the score. So for example, I was in a situation at a wedding. People act up the worst at weddings and funerals. And God used me to really bridge the gap for a mother that had been told she couldn't attend the wedding. So I stepped in and I talked to the groom and I said, "Don't do this. This is your mom." A lot of family dynamics, and so anyway, it was resolved, and I was exhausted afterwards because it took so much, and I shouldn't say I was surprised, but I was surprised by how exhausted I was. And the mom said to me, which I'm grateful for now. Uh, there was an issue with the daughter-in-law, you know, um, and she said to me, you know, she can be your project, she's not mine. And that was like a slap in the face, like, whoa, wait a minute, I'm stepping in trying to help you with your situation. And then that's the response that I get. Well, thank you. I didn't say this to her, but I said thank you for that response because it woke me up. Like, it's not my responsibility to fix every situation, even though I may know how. That's why I said y'all are all in my Kool-Aid, people on the call. And I think I'm guilty of having that savior complex because I don't want people to be in pain, especially the people that I love. And I have so many siblings and so many nieces and nephews and so many opportunities, even within my own house, to help people. But I have to draw back because, like Sister Selena said, and maybe somebody else, I have to put myself on the menu while I'm trying to help everybody else. And so anyway, it's been so great to read and to, participate and to really realize that I'm not required to abandon myself to save everybody else. I need to be saving myself. The fact of the matter is, right now, having some health challenges, I'm not on any medication because I'm going a holistic route. I'm not going to have surgery because I know that God is able and the body heals itself under the right conditions.
Mm.
Um, but that sacred no and that holy yes, I'll end with this. The word sacred before anything changes the dynamics for me.
Mm.
The word sacred before no leads me to a delivery. The way I deliver the no.
Mm.
Mhm.
And I so appreciate that. And the holy yes is that for me, it's just me being who God created me to be without permission.
Come
Mm.
on.
So I'll end with that. And I have to say I appreciate you all, the pokes, and I appreciate the participants for sharing. And I just know that I'm taking notes at every turn.
No,
And with that, I'm complete.
it is an
Uh,
honor to journey alongside you,
yes.
sis, and sending you healing energy.
Yes.
Sending you healing energy on this journey.
Yes.
Yeah. Ashe.
I say.
Ashe. And Brother Truth, Sister Constance, peace and blessings.
Peace and blessings, family.
Blessings.
So, one thing that stood out for me in this particular portion is what pattern keeps returning.
Mm,
Mm.
And the key term in that is pattern,
mm,
because it's where my brain is going and my mind is going is the 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 duration or the length or the span, because it's not something that is overnight,
yeah.
or it's not something that is just one click or two clicks. It's it's an abundance of moments,
Mm,
and depending upon the awareness, which ties in the idea of, now that I'm thinking about it, self abandonment
mhm.
is, how long have I been ignoring
Mm.
Oh,
Mm.
myself
okay.
Mhm.
or unaware of myself because I've been so focused on someone else or something else
Mm.
Mm,
other than, as the sister just shared, what's going on underneath. What is the reason that this thing, this what appears to be a thing, but it's actually a process. It's a time period that has led up to this particular, what we label as a rock bottom moment,
that's right.
Mm.
whether it be um the car accident, whether it be the arrest, whether it be the
Hmm.
fight.
Hmm.
But the pattern itself is the duration that it has been going on and
Okay.
has been actually ignored. And because of the ignorance, it now has culminated into a finalization in that particular moment.
Mhm.
Mm.
Mhm. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
I-
So that's what's standing out for me. And definitely, I'm interested to hear what comes from that statement, because that's kind of where I get the meat of what I get is from listening. So with that, I'm at peace.
Ashe.
I say. Yeah.
Ashe.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's a beautiful
Yeah.
expansion on it,
Yeah.
right? Raising that next level question of how
How long?
long?
Yeah.
How long?
Yeah.
Because that really anchors you to a reality, right? And that's the accountability question right there.
Yeah.
How long?
Yeah.
And then now you get to determine
Mm-hmm.
when it's gonna stop.
Right.
When
Right.
it's gonna stop. So I give thanks for that.
Yeah.
Give thanks for that.
So,
All right, family. So we went a little over today, y'all, but we want to make sure that everyone who would like to reflect had an opportunity to do so. So
that's
we
it.
give
Yeah.
thanks.
Thank you for yeah.
Yeah, this has been beautiful. And we're gonna move into our collective closing, our call and response on our affirmations.
Ashe.
Ashe. Okay.
Okay, so as always, if you would like to, in spirit, unmute and repeat and recall, it's always appreciated. All right, here we go, family. I am remembering that I am someone who attunes to my life's sacred curriculum.
I am
I am
someone
I am
remembering
remembering
that I
that I
am
am
that I am
someone
someone
who
someone who
attunes
attunes
Attuned
to
to
my
my
to my
life's
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 sacred
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 curriculum.
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 Ashe.
I do
Ashe.
not resist what returns, I practice inside it.
I
do
do
not
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 resist
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 What
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 returns,
returns.
returns.
I
I
I
Turns
practice
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 inside
inside
it.
it.
inside
inside
of
it.
it.
inside it.
I allow ambition to be seasonal without calling it loss.
Mm.
I
I
allow
I
Allow
allow
ambition to be
ambition
ambition
to
seasonal
to
be
be
to be
without
seasonal
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 calling it a
without
loss.
without
without
calling it
calling it
loss.
loss. Ashe.
Mm. I let rock bottom be the ground that does not shift.
I
I
let
I
Let
let
rock
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 bottom
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 the
the
be the
the
ground
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 that does
that
not
that
does
does
not
does
not
not
shift.
shift.
Mm.
Mm.
I protect what my yes makes possible with a no that needs no defense.
Mm. I
I
I
protect
protect
protect what my
what
yes
my
what
makes
yes
makes
makes
possible
With a
possible
with a
no
no
with a
that
no
that
that
needs
needs
that
no
no
needs no
defense.
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 Mm.
Ashe.
And I live what I know, not all at once, but again and again
yeah.
with increasing devotion.
I
I
live
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 what
what
I
with
I
what I
know,
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 not
not
all
not
all
at
at
All
once,
at
once,
again
once,
but
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 again
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 and
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 again
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 with
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 increasing
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 devotion.
increasing
devotion.
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 Ashe.
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 Amen.
Ashe.
Hey, family.
Give thanks.
Sending so much love. If you are not already in the community, we will definitely send you the link for that so you can join. In addition to uploading our recording today, I'll also take a screen share, just Spirit just said to do this, right? Of the affirmation so that we have it posted there if you want to save it as well.
Ashe,
So Ashe,
Ashe.
man,
Ashe.
give thanks, give thanks,
Give
sending
thanks.
so much love.
Love, love, love. Have a blessed
Have a
day.
blessed day,
You
blessed.
to
You
give
all
thanks.
too.
This is
Give
beautiful.
thanks.
Thank you. Give
Yes.
thanks.
Great
Yes.
day,
Ashe.
everyone.
Yes.
Ashe.
Ashe.